Alright, welcome back to Angels with Scaly Wings. Let's get back into it, shall we? After a night of turbulent dreams, my consciousness returned to the shores of the waking world. Today is the day of the big fireworks. Who shall I bring? Big fireworks. Oh. Well, I was sure any of those I knew would agree to watch the fireworks with me. If I asked, I ultimately decided to go alone, not wanting to impose on anyone if they hadn't asked me first. After making some preparation for the day, I set out to experience these fireworks I had heard so much about. Clearly, I haven't heard like that much about them if I didn't even know that they were fucking happening till now. When I left my apartment, I realized just how easily deserted the rest of the place felt. They really weren't kidding when they said everyone would watch the fireworks. I imagine there were a couple of designated places people gathered for this purpose. I had no doubt they were crowded beyond belief. While I waited for the fireworks to start, I looked around the area around me with no soul in sight. I realized I hadn't actually spent many nights outside and was reminded of the day I had first arrived at my apartment, in total darkness, with only Romy by my side. Soon the total stillness was broken with the sound of the first rocket ascending, its explosion painting a circular pattern in the sky. More rockets followed, their quantity and frequency steadily increasing. Ooh. As the explosions battered my ears, a terrible realization hit me. Considering how public an event this was and how everyone would be watching the fireworks, that would be the best time for Reza to make his move. Not only was the village basically deserted, but the sounds of the fireworks would also overshadow any gunshots, giving him as much security as he would ever have. As the portal had been repaired by the administrator, Reza would have no trouble making his getaway, and I was the only one who knew. I ran to my apartment and briefly considered calling the police as I grabbed a few things. However, I soon remembered that they were not only already understaffed, but that I might waste precious time if I tried to do so. Whee! Explosions. I arrived at the portal just a few minutes later. I couldn't help but be glad that it was still turned off and didn't appear to have been used recently, but it meant Reza was still here somewhere. I looked around, thinking about where he could be or if it was worth waiting for him here when I saw something at the corner of my eye. Hesitantly, I drew near. Oh no. Is that Sebastian? Oh, that's Sebastian, isn't it? Oh, fuck. I checked Sebastian for any signs of life and found nothing. However, his body was still warm. Rez was here very recently. He hadn't used the portal just yet. Why? Sebastian's guard post was not just for the portal itself, but also the surrounding area. Since Reza was already here, he probably had some unfinished business very close by. The underground building. The administrator told me about the prowess of the generators then. It probably hadn't been hard for Reza to guess the same. Or to try stealing them from a place he knew would be more deserted than the rest of the village was right now. He also didn't have far to go from the portal. All things considered, it was the only option that made sense to me. I could have waited for Reza here, but in the end I decided it would be better to meet him underground. If there was going to be a confrontation, I was sure I would have the advantage in a more crowded space. Even in the darkness, it was easy for me to spot the sites where they had unearthed the building's entry, as it was in a roped-off area that I had seen from afar before. Ooh. When I entered the building, I was met by a long, illuminated hallway that was lined with doors on both sides. Since the lights were already on, Reza had to be very close. I wasn't surprised at the building still having electricity since its generators were also powering the portal. Suddenly, one of the doors opened, and out came Reza, carrying a large cardboard box. When he spotted me, he sat on the ground. Kaiser, you're here! You don't know how glad I am to see you. I wanted to talk with you for so long. I even tried to contact you, but I couldn't with someone tailing you the whole time. But talking can wait. Now that you're here, we've got everything. Come on, help me with this, and let's get out of here. No. No? What are you talking about? I'm not doing anything until you answer a few questions. You want to talk now? Sure, why not? We've probably got a few hours if we want it to. None of them will disturb us here. We could even get the backup generators as well, after we send this one over. When did you realize we were in the past? How did you know about the comet? I've known for a while. It's what I want to talk to you about when we met at the portal. How about you? I only recently found out. Looking back, it just seems obvious to me now. I'm not sure how exactly you figured it out, but there are so many damn clues when you think about it. I mean, how could a supposedly completely different independent civilization speak the same language as us? What was this supposed to be? An alternate reality? No, it was just a different time. When was there ever anything resembling these creatures on Earth? It's not hard to make the jump from dragons to dinosaurs when some of them here look pretty damn near identical to dinosaurs we knew about. And then there are also the prehistoric fruits, the plants, and the fact that their technology level is nearly exactly the same as our own past society. But we don't even have to think about that, Abstract. You just need to look at the sky. The sun, the moon, even the stars are the same. Constellations change over time, of course, but, you know, we could account for that stuff. You could have just pointed your PDA at the sky and it would have told you about the time period, including the imminent threat of being eradicated. You could even see the meteorite in the sky, and how it would change its position day after day. Are you done being condescending? I guess so. You killed these dragons, Reza. What a brilliant deduction, Sherlock. Why'd you do it? Do you really need me to spell it out? I thought better of you. After I found out the truth about this place, I knew just waiting for the generators we were owed was not an option anymore. It would have taken who knows how long, but I didn't intend to stay a day longer than necessary. You wouldn't believe how hard it was for me to acquire some generators. Some of the dragons didn't go down easily. But who cares? that they got the generators back I stole. Which is this one? We won't need any of the others. How could you do this? How could I do this? Let me ask you this. What harm is there really taking the generators, when their whole civilization will be gone in a few weeks anyway? The ones I killed just died a little earlier than scheduled. Even if that creep hadn't shown up and interrupted our meeting, we wouldn't have had the time for them to make the generators for us. How about we don't let them all die? They're going to be extinct anytime soon, if that's what you're concerned about. I paid the hatchery another visit before I came here. With the right persuasion, I think you'll have plenty of reason to keep at least some of them around. Bodyguards, border patrols, weapons, even as pets or companions, as long as we make the necessary changes. See, it's not as bad as you might think. I'm not going to just abandon them like that, only for their whole civilization to be wiped out. Get your priorities straight, Kaiser! Next, you'd rather starve because you'd suddenly empathize with a steak, and you're not satisfied just starving by yourself. No! You're going to let all of us starve because you want to impose your morals on everyone. Since when do you think that you get to have any say in this? You know why you're here. What you're proposing is treason, and you know the consequences. Personally, I don't mind if you want to stay here. You know, I don't care about corporal punishment. Just let me through, and you can do whatever you wish. I can't do that, Reza. I see how it is. I've told you they need this generator to stop the comet, huh? And now you've become their lackey. Don't tell me you've been drinking up what they've been telling you. You know they have as much of a vested interest in this whole thing as humanity does. That I and you do, or at least used to. Do you think they wouldn't do the same thing if it was their families on the line instead of ours? Their entire world is on the line here. They live in a perfect harmony with their perfect green energy source and no reason for wars or conflicts. Yada yada yada. We had that too, and you know what happened to them? Of course you do. It's such an idiotic trope, you know. A random person meets weird natives, learns their ways, and ends up saving them. What do they need for, huh? Maybe they're going to be extinct for a reason if they can't even save themselves. You know of our suffering, yet will you let them have it? I don't care what happens to them, but unlike you, I was at least trying to save humanity. At any cost. We have the solution right here. And you want to get philosophical now? Don't you think we deserve it? They've had it for who knows how long. Now it's time for us. Not like this. Do you think I like it? If there was a different way, I wouldn't have spent the last few weeks doing what you didn't. We don't live in this fairy tale world of yours where there is a perfect solution to everything. You should know that. Just being here for a few weeks must have messed you up. I think I know why. You got too used to all the comforts they have here. You don't actually care if they all die back home, do you? As long as you get to stay here, in this perfect little world of yours, you have discarded everything and everyone back home, and replaced it with this. Maybe it's because you just don't have a life back home. I can even understand that a little. Of course, it would be nice to just stay here, where they have everything that we don't. But being here also reminded me of everything I hated about our world as it used to be. The pettiness and other politics. Say about the solar flare what you want, but it leveled the playing field and gave people like us a chance to make a difference. For all of our efforts, what do we get? A vote that was meaningless in a sea of stupidity and lies. Now everyone has to pull their own weight. We make the rules. You of all people should understand. Of course they wouldn't. They haven't experienced how it is to live like we do now. To see the world burn and everyone you know die around you. And because I have, I won't let the same thing happen to them. How many do you think died back home just the 2 weeks you've been here? Because we don't have power for the hospital, huh? Do you think these victims aren't worth mentioning, or do you just care about the few dragons I killed? Our city is the last bastion of a civilized society in a world where nothing else is left. Maybe you've forgotten about them, but I haven't. How many of us do you think will still be there in a month, a year? Or are they just a statistic to you? The same could be said for the dragons. What do you want to do? Talk me down from doing this? And then what? It's too late anyway. You think they're just going to let us go after what I've done? Fat chance. Whatever you may think, you'll find that our leaders back home agree with my course of action. Why are you telling me this? Because I expect you to join me. That's not going to happen. And you call yourself an ambassador? This generator is the only thing we need for our city to survive. How can you even argue about this? The dragons also need that generator, and I'll do what is necessary to stop you if I have to. So that makes you judge, jury, and executioner. What a wonderful set of morals you have there, Kaiser. We only need to wait until the comet has passed safely. You think you could stop the comet, and you need this generator to do that. Sure, and if your plan fails, then not only this world is gone, but we also lose any of all hope to save our own. We are so close now. We can't risk anything by waiting for your crazy plan when back home they're all dying by the minute. I will not let you. You only want to save your own two-faced hide, because you don't want to face the consequences of what you did. Why are you laughing about this? Because it's a joke. It must be. I'm the one with the gun, and you thought you could just waltz in here and lecture me? Listening to you was fun and all, but the grown-ups must get back to work now. And what are you going to do? You can't stop me now anyway. Actually, I can. I opened the cloak I was wearing to reveal an improvised bomb I had made from a generator. What is this? You showed me how to do it. Which is the little trap you set at the farmhouse. That wasn't intended for you. It doesn't matter. You set it for someone. You set it to kill. Where'd you even get a generator? After the police reclaimed the generators you stole, it was easy for me to take one when I was alone in the department, just in case. I set the bomb on the ground between us with it, and between me and Rez at the exit, he would have to listen now. So what's your plan? I'll tell you what's going to happen. You leave the generator and turn yourself in. You know what? I think you're bluffing. If you still have that bomb, not only do we both die, but you destroy the generators as well. And with them, any chance of saving either world. You would never do that. He pulled out his gun and pointed at me, as he slowly started closing distance between us. What's it going to be, Kaiser? Killing all of us? Or just this world? Reza was right. In reality, the bomb provided no real leverage against him. If his goal was truly to save our city back home at any cost, he would not turn himself in. Even if the threat of setting off the bomb was a real one, his best chance would be at least to try to kill me now. I turned around and started running. No! I heard gunshots immediately. I felt the most excruciating pain I had ever experienced resonate throughout my arm. As I kept sprinting as fast as I could, I heard a beeping sound that made me realize I had inadvertently activated the bomb when I was hit. Out of bullets, Reza was not far behind as we both scrambled towards the exit. Just as I reached the outside, the bomb went off. The explosion battered my ears as the shockwave sent me flying. I collided with the ground and immediately felt a hail of debris. I cowered, waiting for it to die down. After a few seconds, I turned around and looked at the sky where the fireworks still painted patterns in the stars. With one hand, I reached towards my injured arm, only to find it wet with blood from my bullet wound. My whole body was numb. But I can't give up now. I slowly got up, looked around the area to get some perspective of the situation. Not far from where I was, I saw Reza lying on the ground. He wasn't moving. Well, the bastard's dead. As I got closer, I saw the gun next to him. I won't let them find this. I took it with me, hiding it in one of my pockets to start and make my way towards the portal with slow and uneasy steps. I was shaking and my vision was blurry. Every inch of movement felt like a new and harder chore than the last. Eventually, my legs gave in and I collapsed to the ground. I resigned to my fate as I watched the night sky, illuminated by the colorful explosions of the fireworks. Suddenly, I was lifted off the ground as I opened my eyes. I saw the masked face of the administrator. I just could not let it happen. I had to stop him. I had to try somehow. The administrator started moving, carrying me. Unfortunately, it seems like the generators were destroyed as well. So this is how it ends, with humanity doomed to fade into history, and the dragons facing extinction. All hope is not lost. It never was. What are you going to do? I'm going to send you back in time. We'll just try again, and maybe we'll do better next time. By now we had arrived at the portal. The administrator gently set me down before moving towards the portal's controls. You will probably forget most of what happened. The teleportation tends to do that sometimes, especially when someone is transported several times in quick succession. Maybe you'll remember a thing or two, and maybe it'll help you do better next time. Maybe. I'll see you on the other side. I heard the sound of the portal starting to do its work as the numbness and pain suddenly left my body. Things I had experienced and things I hadn't flashed across my mind as I was teleported. I felt free. And that is the game. I was not expecting this to be the final episode. I was expecting this to go on for a little bit longer, actually. Huh. And I got a bad ending. Ugh. Man. To be honest, I'm not surprised I got a bad ending. And early on, I was faffing around, not taking things too seriously. And hell, even by even I didn't really start taking things more seriously until probably chapter 4, and by that point, it was probably already too late to start being serious. Oh boy. I'm tempted to perhaps do more. But at the same time, this is the ending that I got with very little, basically none outside intervention. This was all my choices. I mean, there was a little bit of RNG. But it rolled like a dice for like one decision. This game was pretty good. I'm kind of surprised to come to that conclusion, because I'm not a big fan of story games. I much prefer gameplay over story. But yeah, it's good. And I suppose I'll just shut up and let the credits roll. Neutral ending? I would not have called that neutral, but alright. So it could have been worse, but could have definitely been better. Huh. Yeah, I would not have called that a neutral ending. You experience just one of the many different endings of Angels with Scaly Wings. In order to see the story's conclusion, you'll have to play through the game a number of times. During the next playthrough, you may want to make different choices. You may even find the information you gain this time to be helpful. Sometimes you might even notice that prior choices have changed a character or aspect of the game's world permanently. At any rate, feel free to employ the game's skip buttons, Control and Tab generously, as by default they only skip text that you have already seen, making subsequent playthroughs much more palatable. Can you find all the different endings? You have seen your first ending. That's Angels with Scaly Wings. Huh. This game was a lot shorter than I was expecting it to be. I was expecting there to be maybe one more chapter. But no. I guess that's it for Angels Scaly Wings. I could go back and try to get a different ending, but I think with... Wait. There's a gun on the floor there. Was that always there? I don't think that gun was always there. I guess the main menu screen changes based off of, what endings you've gone. Well, that'll be it for Angels Scaly Wings. Well, I might decide to go for a different ending, but I kind of doubt it. As the way I see it, we could get into all sort of time travel shenanigans, but this is my canonical ending. So yeah, I'll see you next time for whatever I do next. See you then.